But I think laying the foundation for this is what we have to do to compete at a championship level.
Yeah.
Like this is why home court matters. This is why you can't have off day. This is why we can't be 11th in the league in defense, right? Like we got to get to at least middle of the pack. You know, all of those different things. And so as a competitor, it's exciting.
Have you heard what Stephanie White recently said about Caitlin Clark? It's certainly surprising. The Indiana Fever's new head coach made a major statement in her latest interview, and now everyone is discussing it.
It's exciting to coach generational talents, you know, and that outweighs the other stuff that we might have to deal with.
White didn't just compliment Clark. She shared something that could potentially transform the future of the WNBA. Are you prepared to learn the truth about the league's rising star and the coach who's known her since middle school? Stay tuned, because Coach White wasn't the only one speaking during that interview. Another rival coach also shared an incredible story about Clark that you won't want to miss. Ready? Let's dive in.
Do I think it's going to be a seamless transition? No. I mean, it's going to take some time. And just like any young team, I mean, you don't get back-to-back number one picks by being really talented early, right? Just like any young team, it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
You know, and we got to put some pieces together and we've got to continue to build. So managing expectations is going to be important.
In the gym, the atmosphere is charged with excitement as the crowd watches intently. Sitting among them is Stephanie White, her gaze fixed on a young player effortlessly outmaneuvering her opponents. But this isn't just any player, it's an 8th grader, Caitlin Clark. Hard to believe, right?
Watching Caitlin Clark when she was in the 8th grade when I was at Vanderbilt.
How about
and then I called a lot of her games in college when she was at Iowa. And so I've really watched her continue to learn and grow, and I have great relationships with her college coaches and had multiple conversations with them throughout the course of her career about what the next steps would be, right? And what the next level would be.
For years, White has been closely following Clark's every move, witnessing her remarkable journey from middle school prodigy to college superstar. But here's where it gets intriguing. White wasn't merely an observer. She was actively analyzing, studying, and yes, even imagining the possibility of coaching this exceptional talent one day.
Caitlin isn't just great for women's basketball. She is great for the entire game. She's more than just points.
She absolutely is. I mean, let's not forget, this is a young woman who led the nation in assists as well. She's accomplished records that haven't ever been accomplished in the sport of collegiate basketball.
Fast forward to today. White isn't just offering praise for Clark. She's unveiling how years of closely watching her have deepened her understanding of Clark's game. It's as if White has been preparing for this moment throughout her entire career. Ready for it? In her interview, White drops a bombshell, revealing insights that only someone who's followed Clark's entire journey could truly understand.
I'm looking forward to, you know, when you think about Caitlin Clark and a generational talent, and, you know, the sometimes overlooked Kelsey Mitchell, who has been like one of the hardest workers that I've ever seen from the time I was covering her at Big Ten Network, watching her at Ohio State. And then Aaliyah Boston, who, you know, prior to Caitlin Clark coming on the scene, was another generational talent and is, right? Like, so it's like you think about the pieces that we have and putting that all together.
White's words paint a picture of Clark as more than just a basketball player. She's a cultural phenomenon, a generational talent that only comes around once in a lifetime. The way White speaks about Clark reveals a deep appreciation for something beyond stats and scoreboards. And here's the real highlight. White's enthusiasm about coaching Clark and the Fever is unmistakable. She can hardly contain her excitement when she talks about how incredible the current moment in women's basketball is. "I am thankful and grateful for it," she says. It's as if White knows she's about to be part of something monumental, something that could forever change the game.
I hope, number one, for Caitlin, that I can be a resource. You know, I didn't have the same stuff that she has on a global scale. You know, thankfully we didn't have social media at the time, which amplifies everything. But I've been through it on a smaller scale, and so hopefully I can help her navigate, you know, some of the extra stuff, while pushing her to be her best and challenging her to step outside of her comfort zone on the floor.
But let's not forget, this isn't just about Clark. White's insights also offer a glimpse into the future of the Fever. She's not only excited about coaching Clark, she's equally thrilled about the team they're assembling. You can sense the palpable anticipation in her voice as she discusses the upcoming season, hinting at the incredible potential ahead.
Have the advantage of I was an opponent, right? And so scouting her and this is what we try to do to make you uncomfortable. This is how we game planned for you. And again, being that straight shooter, like, okay, like these are the areas that we need to improve. And putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of this team that we have, who is incredibly gifted on the offensive end of the floor. Offense is what I love. And so trying to think about all these things that we can do.
White's decade-long connection to Clark isn't just an interesting detail. It's a game changer. It means she truly understands Clark's strengths, weaknesses, and untapped potential in a way no other coach could. White has seen Clark evolve, adapt, and conquer challenges firsthand. She's witnessed the relentless work ethic and determination that have shaped Clark into the extraordinary player she is today.
I had a staff meeting a couple of weeks ago in Indy, and it was like, guys, we got to scale it back. We're not going to be able to do all of this in year one. We're not going to be able to do all of this in training camp. Like, we're going to be able to. So staying ahead of the curve and watching all of these, NBA games and EuroLeague games and thinking about the things that we can do is really exciting to me.
Let's take a step back. Remember when Caitlin Clark was dominating college basketball? Stephanie White was right there, microphone in hand. But she wasn't just another analyst raving about a star player. White saw something in Clark that others overlooked. Instead of focusing solely on the highlight reel plays and impressive stats, White was analyzing Clark's court vision, basketball IQ, and her ability to elevate her teammates. During one of her broadcasts, White made a game-changing comment about Clark's skill. "I think she reads the game better than other stars." That's a huge statement. White wasn't just praising Clark's scoring ability. She was shining a light on the intangibles that set a good player apart from a great one.
Caitlin Clark is just at the epitome of the intersection of social media, of pop culture, and fan engagement in a way that we've never seen, and she's moving the needle forward for all athletes.
Fast forward to Clark's entrance into the WNBA. The hype was undeniable, but so was the pressure. And who was there, unwavering in her support? You guessed it, Stephanie White. When Clark struggled with her first 2 WNBA games, the critics quickly made their voices heard. But White wasn't having any of it. She stepped up to defend Clark, reminding everyone that even the greatest players need time to adjust.
Looking at all these things that people are talking about with Caitlin Clark, it's like, guys, chill out. Like, she's gonna be fine. Like, it's 2 games in. Are you kidding me? She's a student of the game. She got better every year. You're not going to just absorb all of the new information that's coming at you in 2 games, in 2 weeks. It takes time, and she will. I have no doubt about it. She's a student of the game. She continues to get better, and these are also points that coaches then address. Hey, let's continue to work on this. It's exciting. Certainly, I was born and raised in Indiana, and so have a lot of pride in Indiana basketball, and a lot of pride in the Fever organization, being a player and a coach there. And it's exciting what's happening with the organization and where they are. I mean, most organizations have their ups and downs, certainly, but I'm proud of the growth of the Indiana Fever. Excited, about the future of the Indiana Fever. And
what's your approach when you're coaching greatness like that?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, just talking basketball, right? Just having general basketball conversations about what she's watching, what she likes, what are some of the things that what are some of her thoughts from, not just what the Indiana Fever have done, but from the game of basketball in general.
I mean, let me tell you, so this is crazy. So it's the end of, I don't know, maybe a quarter or half, I'm not sure which, but we were going to take a foul on her, right? And so Caitlin Clark brings it over, and she brings it over close to where Katie Gerald's is, and we were going to tell Jayla Smith to foul. And so Katie said, "I'll tell you when." And so you can see Caitlin hear that.
Yeah.
Now, Jayla Smith goes to foul. She throws it up.
Yep.
Turns around. It goes in.
Yep.
It freaking goes in, and she didn't even see it. And then she starts going, and one. I'm like, oh my God. Whatever you're scheming, whatever you're thinking you're going to try, I mean, we all just did our best, right?
Yeah,
We just did the best we could, and at the end of the day, it was what it was. But, as somebody like that, everybody has to kind of kind of cross their fingers and kind of throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks with her. And it was pretty cool to experience Mackey Arena and Caitlin Clark at the same time. I mean, it was pretty fun.
We had a lot more defensive weapons at our disposal. So, you know, and it's I don't know how any college team really can prepare for a Caitlin Clark, because you can't do it with one person.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do it one-on-one, right? Like it is a whole 5-man team effort. So let me just preface all that before you go